What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We have made it to Monday, the start of yet another week, and it is our first week post-draft, which means things are going to start to really slow down around here. There's going to be a lot less to talk about, a lot less to get into. I'll spend a few weeks really trying to dive deep into these draft prospects, but for the most part, in terms of actual action, like things concretely happening, we're pretty much at the end. So I'd expect to see more like 1 or 2 videos a day for a little bit here. And then maybe we'll get to like 3 or 4 for a few weeks as I'm trying to really seek to understand everything that we can understand about these guys we drafted. But other than that, we're gonna start easing on the brakes here. So everyone just hunker down. It's going to be a few months where not a lot goes on, but July's going to get here. We're going to get to practices and OTAs, and August is the preseason, so it's going to come around pretty quickly. All right, so this video is mostly just going to be a follow-up to the video that I posted a day and a half ago or so concerning the undrafted rookie free agents the Seahawks signed. And I also want to take a look at a couple other considerations as well. So Seahawks today, like I said in that previous video, they have a X thread of the signings that the Seahawks have made in undrafted free agency. So we've already looked at most of these. To my knowledge, since the video that I made a day and a half ago, there have been 2 new names added to the list. D'Amico Rowland, defensive tackle. I don't know much about him specifically. I do know he's a bigger guy. I think he's like 340 pounds or something. So if you were looking for a true massive slab of beef nose tackle, that might be the guy, D'Amico Rowland. So that may end up being an important pickup. And then you've got running back Jarcadia Wright, who I don't know anything about. Oh, so not much I can say there. So I will say that looking at this selection of UDFAs, I think our best one in terms of a player that I feel like is at least something of a known commodity would be Alexandra. And the most interesting one might be Broden, because Broden is the guy who's like 6'7" and runs a 4.3 740 or something like that. That's intriguing. That's certainly compelling, at least. However, there is one guy that this thread does not contain that I do want to spend some time talking about. To my knowledge, the only guy that isn't in this thread that we signed in the UDFA portion was Jared Ivey. He has signed with Seattle as a UDFA. And Jared Ivey is actually a really interesting one. He's a guy that I fully expected to get drafted. He did not, and now we are getting him as an undrafted free agent. Jared Ivey was a player that I evaluated pre-draft. I actually have my write-up of him right here. I don't have his testing numbers, but he tested very poorly, which is probably why he fell. You can see that when I took the data, which I believe was before or immediately after his testing came out, he was ranked as a late 3rd rounder, and he ended up going undrafted. And you can see he's got pretty reasonable size. He's very tall. He's, for an edge rusher, quite big. Arm length is decent. All these big boards had him in the 3rd round. PFF had him in the 2nd, so did CBS. This guy went undrafted mostly because he tested miserably, and I wasn't even aware that he tested at all when I did my write-up of him. Now, I had him as an early 4th rounder if I knew how bad his testing was, because it was, let me be clear here, it was very bad. I probably would have bumped him down to the 5th. I still would have expected him to get drafted. Jared Ivey was a Ole Miss, kind of a big edge rusher. He had 7 sacks and 40 pressures competing with Princely. And Princely was one of the most productive pass rushers in the NFL. In college football last year. So to me, that actually is pretty darn impressive. So 90.6 PFF grade last year, by the way. So looking at my scouting report, speed to power, got good punches. He could be a big edge, which we know Mike McDonald likes. He likes these 3-4 edge rushers that are a little bit bigger. Guys like Clowney, guys like hopefully now DeMarcus Lawrence. I did note that his reactive athleticism is pretty limited. Again, I had no idea that his testing was so bad, but that really does kind of accentuate that fact. I don't know what he's going to do in the pros. I did wonder if maybe he would be a 5-tech. I didn't know if maybe he would add weight and be a 3-tech. But there is something interesting here. This was a good pickup. Again, I said early 4th. If I knew his testing was so bad, I probably would have bumped him down. But getting him as a UDFA is definitely a good one. So Jared Ivey, along with Zy Alexander, would be my top 2 guys that the Seahawks signed in UDFA. So if you want to know who I think is most likely to make an impact, it would be those 2 guys. The rest of these guys, I mean, I guess you could make a little bit of an argument for Jackson Woodard. I don't know much about him, but I know there's a lot of excitement there. There's a lot of belief that he's a good player. And D'Amico Rowland, just because he gives us something that nobody else on this team does, a lot of girth in the middle there. There was also the rookie minicamp invite tracker that Seahawks Today put together. Now, this is kind of like, one level below the UDFA signings, because the UDFA signings are often not going to lead to much. Oftentimes, each team will have like 1 or 2 UDFAs that hit, but they're at least getting signed. They're at least being given a contract with some money attached to it. The invites, the minicamp invites, are just, hey, come on by for a few days. We'll take a look at you, and maybe you'll impress somebody on the coaching staff enough to get a real roster spot. So these guys have a major uphill battle to go through in order to even sniff the team. To even get on the 90-man roster before the season starts is tough for these guys. To actually make the 53-man is pretty rare. I can't remember off the top of my head the last time a rookie minicamp invite player actually made the 53-man. So long odds for these guys. And I only really know one of them, and it's Thor Griffith. He's a legitimate nose tackle as well. He's somebody with a lot of beef. He's somebody that a lot of Seahawks fans actually liked. So Thor Griffith is the one guy who I know a little bit about in this group, I believe. Tyler Ellsbury, offensive lineman. Zach Patterson, wide receiver. Cam Stone, defensive back. Donovan Kaufman, safety. Luke Felix Fualalo, tackle. Tyrese Shakir, defensive back. Brandon Brown, defensive lineman. Tevin Shipp, linebacker. Cornerback. Julian Barrett, cornerback. Barnett, cornerback, linebacker Michael Batten. I don't know anything about any of those players, so I'm not putting any expectations on any of these guys, but we'll see what happens, right? They're going to get a few days to impress somebody, and maybe we put them on speed dial to sign them in the event of injuries later in the season. That's sometimes how this works. So that's really about it in terms of the UDFA and rookie minicamp stuff. We're probably done. If we're not done, it's going to be 1 or 2 more guys. So that I just wanted to go ahead and put a little bit of a capper on that. One thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit here. This is from Major Hawks coverage on X. Give them a follow, by the way. Go check them out. They do good stuff over there. One thing that he pointed out is that Schneider said earlier this offseason that there would be some trades after the draft, which I had actually kind of forgotten about. I hadn't really talked about that, but it is actually true. Schneider did indicate that there could be some trades after the draft, which is interesting. Usually trades happen before the draft, so you can actually get current draft picks back, but this is a wrinkle. So he lists out some players that may be on the move one way or the other. Ken Walker, Charbonnet, Fant, Bradford, Mafe, Kobe Bryant, and he also lists some players the team might be interested in trading for. I don't think Wyatt Teller can be traded for because of the money, but maybe something could be worked out there. He's also got Jalen Ramsey, Taron Johnson. I don't know why Taron Johnson would be a target. He's a slot corner, and we already have a pretty good handle on the slot corner spot, especially if Emin Wari is going to be a part-time slot corner, and Jordan Hicks. So it's possible that the dust hasn't settled yet. And I was really thinking that after the draft, all our trade action would be done. But this tweet does make a very good point. So you guys know how I feel about trading these players. I would love to trade Fant at this point. I don't dislike Fant. I think he's a decent enough player. But with Barner and Arroyo, and maybe you throw in Brady Russell and Oates, Robbie Outs or Ots. I'll learn how to pronounce his name eventually. It just seems kind of like it's time to move on. Noah Fant's not going to be here in 2026 no matter what. Kind of feels like it would make sense to move on now. I don't know what you're getting for Anthony Bradford. Mafe, I kind of feel like if you trade him now, you're selling low. So I'm not really into that because he didn't have a great year last year, mostly because he was playing injured, I think. So to me, trading Mafe now is like trading at his lowest point. He had 9 sacks 2 years ago. If I was going to trade him, I'd try to trade him after a season like that, not after a season where he was really gutting it out and didn't really put up big numbers. Maybe if you've already decided there's no way you're going to extend Mafe, I could see it, but I don't know what you're going to get for him. Maybe if you can get like a 3rd round pick, that's kind of interesting, but I don't know if you can. Kobe Bryant, I guess if you want to clear the deck for Emin Wari to start, but what are you going to get for Kobe Bryant? He's put together not even one full good season in the NFL, really. Like he was a marginal slot corner, and then during the last 2/3 of the season, last year, he was a good safety, but I don't know what you're going to get for that. I think I'd rather just have one more year of Kobe Bryant because I think he's a pretty good player. All right, so keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for more stuff happening. That's a roundup of what's going on with the UDFA and rookie minicamp stuff. We'll see if there are any trades. I know there's a schedule release coming later this month, so maybe we'll have some more stuff to talk about, but going to go ahead and leave it there. Maybe another video later today, maybe not. Thank you for watching. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your day.